Photo by Harry Howe, Getty ImagesBy. Now, you should familiar with the Dallas Cowboys game plan. Few months mean more to this team and the way the front office runs things more than April does. April, you see, is the month the NFL holds its annual player selection meeting, more commonly referred to as the NFL Draft. For better or worse, like it or not, the Dallas Cowboys leans heavily on getting the draft right. Dallas, at times, seems altogether disinterested in free agency. When they do partake, it is normally to sign a B.C. veteran on the cheap in an attempt to either bolster depth or bridge a gap from one player to a future draft pick. Tackle Cameron Fleming, receiver Randall Cobb, safety George Iloka and defensive linemen Kerry Hyder and Christian Covington all fit this mold. Hometown free agent signings like fullback Jamize Olawale and receiver Tavon Austin do as well. This allows the Dallas Cowboys to focus on specific players in the draft as opposed to feeling forced to draft for need. Over the last 4 drafts, this philosophy has served them well. The defense, primarily, has received a major upgrade via the draft during this period. Byron Jones 2015, Jalen Smith, Maliat Collins, Anthony Brown and Kevin Frazier 2016, Chidobe Awuzie and Xavier Woods 2017, with Leighton Vander Esch last year are all key players to this team. The offense, meanwhile, landed its next franchise quarterback in 2016 by selecting Dak Prescott in round 4 of the 2016 draft. That draft also brought the key to their offense in running back Ezekiel Elliott. 2 years later, offensive lineman Connor Williams and receiver Michael Gallup were added to the young core of offensive weaponry. So, what will the Dallas Cowboys do this year? Next, who will be the Dallas Cowboys' first pick? Page 2 photo by Tom Pennington, Getty Images. Well, the degree of difficulty is ramped up this year. That is for sure. For the first time since the disastrous 2009 draft, Dallas does not have a first-round selection. You can all but forget that fact changing either, as the Cowboys would have to mortgage their entire draft, just to move up into the mid-20s range. Dallas, barring a trade to move incrementally upwards, will not be selecting until round 2, pick 58. Plenty of good talent will be available at this selection, but without the strength of a first-round pick propping up their overall draft process, it is imperative the Cowboys hit on this pick. Let's take a look at who could possibly be available at this spot. I have looked at 9 different mock drafts to get an idea of the players pegged to go between picks 52 to 64. This range represents the 6 picks before Dallas and the 6 after the Cowboys make their selection. Want your voice heard? Join the Landry Hat team. Write for us. First, there are 65 different players in this pocket of 117 possible selections. That alone seems daunting to try to navigate, so let's try to narrow it down even further by likely need. Quarterback is out. So, 2 is any specialist such as punter or kicker. Running back is unnecessary this high. See my column this coming Sunday regarding that topic. Linebacker and offensive line probably is as well. That leaves receiver, tight end, defensive line, cornerback and safety as possible options. Of the 117 possible selections, there were 9 different receivers, 3 different tight ends, 14 defensive linemen, 10 cornerbacks and 6 safeties. 64 has now been narrowed to 42. Next, let's narrow this down even further. Next, who will be the Dallas Cowboys' first pick? Page 3 photo by Jonathan Ferry, Getty Images. Next, let's narrow this down even further by listing just those players who made multiple different mock drafts within this range. Here is that group with the number of mock drafts they made in that draft range. Or from the Landry Hatwr Debo Samuel, South Carolina, 5, S. Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Florida, 4, Irv Smith Jr. Alabama, 4, Jalen Ferguson, Louisiana Tech, 4, S. Juan Thornhill, Virginia, 4, C.B. Julian Love, Notre Dame, 4, W.R. Kelvin Harmon, NC State, 4, C.B. Amani Oruwai, Penn State, 3, Chase Winovich, Michigan, 3, Tay J. Sternberger, Texas A. Arcega-Whiteside, Stanford, 2, CB Joejuan Williams, Vanderbilt, 2, Dale J. Collier, TCU, 2, CB Lonnie Johnson, Kentucky, 2, O'Shane Examines, Old Dominion, 2, DT Reno Wren, Arizona State, 2, WR Riley Ridley, Georgia, 2, CB Trayvon Mullen, Clemson, 2, 42 is now just 21. Now to take one last swing at reducing the options. We discussed the 5 positions where Dallas could most use immediate help. As the draft gets closer, I truly believe defensive back is the biggest need for 2 reasons. One reason is that while there is talent on the roster, the Cowboys still lack a playmaker that creates turnovers. The other is the long-term status of this group. 5 of the 7 current safeties will be free agents next year, while 2 of the 5 cornerbacks could also not be here in 2020. Thinking of the situation as such, I believe the Dallas Cowboys should focus on 2 specific players from the list above. Notre Dame's Julian Love and Virginia's Juan Thornhill. Of these 2, the no-brainer for me is Thornhill. His combine numbers, 4.42 to 40, 44 inches vertical jump, 21 bench press reps, may mean he's not around at pick 58, however 2 different mocks actually chose him. Thornhill also posted 13 career interceptions at Virginia, including 6 in his senior season. Next, ranking every top 10 pick in Dallas Cowboys history, the biggest plus regarding Thornhill, however, is his versatility. Thornhill, like current Cowboys corner Byron Jones, can play both cornerback or safety. Depending on how next year's free agency works out, having someone who can fill either void may be the most wise decision.